Guys, it's Miss Sarah. Thanks for joining me for Messy Art. Are you ready to get started? I'm excited about this one. So this week, for summer reading, it's Pirate Week. So what would Pirate Week be without our very own treasure map? And so I am going to show you how to make a treasure map messy art style. Are you ready? So you'll need a couple things out of your summer reading bag. You'll need that piece of paper that was all rolled up with a rubber band. And when you unroll it, it's a pretty big piece of watercolor paper. Now I'm going to take mine and I'm going to lay it rolled side down so it lays flat on my table. You'll see in a minute when I adjust the camera. And you're also going to need your tea bag that you got in that packet. Other things that you're going to need are some crayons and a cup of water. And I have a piece of paper toweling because this does get a little bit messy and drippy. So I like to have the paper toweling to help keep the mess a little contained, okay? So I'm going to adjust the camera and we are going to make our very own map. Now, what I am going to do, I'm going to make a map of my yard. You can make a map of your yard or inside your house if you want to make the map of inside your house or a park. And then you can use that map to hide a treasure and then give to your siblings or your parents or a friend to find a secret treasure that you've hidden. And you can do this all types of ways. You can make all different kinds of maps. But I'm going to show you a pretty easy one, a map of my yard, okay? And so we're going to have a starting point, and then we are going to end with our treasure, where to find our treasure on our map, all right? So let's start. I'm going to adjust the camera, and you can see my paper. So I need a title for my map, right? So that people know what the map even is. So I'm going to say, map of my yard. Right? And like I said, you don't have to do your yard. You can do inside the house or your grandparents' house, any kind of map you want. There is no right answer. And then you may want to include, maybe down in the corner, it's called a key. A key is what we use. We put the symbols that we're using on our map inside the key, and we tell what those symbols stand for. So if I'm going to use maybe a tree in my yard, I'm going to draw a little tree and put equals tree. Okay? I'm definitely going to use my house, so I'll want to draw a small sample of my house and my house next to it. How about if I use my garden? I think I'll use flowers to represent my garden. Some cute little flowers. I didn't make my key box big enough. And of course we need an X, and that equals our treasure, right? Now I'm only putting 4 things on my key, but you can put as many as you want. And the places in the key are the places people are going to stop to maybe find the next clue to something. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to start with, where do I want people to start? How about by my house? So maybe I will draw my house down here in the corner. Okay. Gotta get a chimney on there, right? Maybe a little smoke. Even though it's super hot outside, I probably am not burning a fire or running the heater or anything like that. Put some curtains in my windows. So I think this is going to be where my map starts. It's my right start. Then I'm going to use some dotted lines. This is going to show whoever's reading my map the path to the next thing, next place where they're going to go and find the next clue. So let's maybe make this our trees. I want them to go to my tree in my backyard. The trees, so here's my tree trunk. Two pretty trees up in the corner of my yard. And then maybe I'll leave a clue there. And then that clue is going to tell them where to go next. And since I used house, tree, garden, house was our start, sent them to our tree. Now we need to draw the line to the next spot, which will probably be my garden, my flower bed or my flower garden. Okay. Need some pretty flowers. This can be an exact map of your yard. You can make a pretend map too. You don't even have to really go out and bury treasure or hide treasure if you don't want. You can just make a pretend map. So here we go, my flower garden. And then my last spot. And the key also does not have to be in the order either. It's however you want to do it. And I'm going to say back here in my back corner of my yard is the treasure. X marks the spot, right? Here we go. Maybe your X might be smaller. I cannot wait to see pictures of your map. But the X marks the treasure. That's where someone can find the treasure. One of my favorite shows when my daughters were growing up was Dora the Explorer. Do you remember Dora the Explorer? And the map always popped out, and Dora followed all the places to the map to find where they needed to go. That's kind of, if you notice, this is kind of what it looks like, right? But here comes the messy part. You are going to use your tea bag now, and you might want to get a couple extra just in case this one falls apart before you're done, okay? And you'll need a cup of water. And watch this. Here's my cup of water. I've already experimented, so my water is the color of a light colored tea. But you're going to dip it just until all those grinds and the tea in there is wet, okay? If I squeeze it, you can see that the water comes out kind of brown. And this is what we're going to use to distress our map and make it look like a pirate map. Whoop. I got tea falling out of my paper towel. And so I'm just going to use that to squish the tea bag down on the white parts of my map to give it that brown color. Here it comes. But sometimes when I'm pounding this on there, the paper part of the tea bag might bust open and cause the actual tea to come out, as you saw right before I used this. It came out of my paper towel. So it doesn't need to be super wet. If you dip it in and then just drip it all over, your whole paper is going to get super, super wet, and it'll take a lot longer to dry, and I'll show you it on my example, right? And you can see it's starting to kind of come apart. So if you have additional tea bags at home, might be a good idea. Or maybe I am pressing too hard, could be. And you'll just distress your whole map like that, okay? And when it's done, you're gonna see on my example here, it's all brown and kind of weathered looking, just like a treasure map that the pirates may have carried, right? You can see, if I hold it this way in the light, you can see where my tea bag was a little too wet and it left a big wet mark. But if I patted it the way I just showed you guys, it dried really nice and just dried with that brown distressed color on there, okay? So I cannot wait to see your maps. Make sure you email us at summerreading@bradleylibrary.org, or definitely post a picture below in the comments. We want everyone to be able to see these maps, okay? See you soon.